Hey everybody, you know what time it is? That's right, it's time for my 10th episode! And for those of you who have been paying attention, yes, I am aware that I have made more than 10 videos. As much as I love doing the monthly unboxings, if I counted those as official episodes, I would never have time to celebrate. And boy, are we definitely set to celebrate here at Jackstack. Because every 10 episodes that we do of Jackstack, we'll be covering Clayface. Nah, I'm just kidding. But every 10 episodes, we're covering Batman. You see, I'm a pretty big Batman fan, and the people over at Funko must be fans as well, since there are a ton of Batman Pops. And I just own too many to go over in one video alone. As a result, every 10 episodes, we'll be digging into Jack's stack of Funko Pops to talk about Batman. This time, we'll be talking about my Batman Elseworlds figures. And what is Elseworlds, you ask? Well, it's DC's way of telling stories with familiar DC characters, but in different settings or timelines. And that's about as far as I'll go into this today. It'll take way too long to go into any real detail about the DC multiverse. So let's skip all that for now and start talking about the figures themselves. Starting with Steampunk Batman. This Batman comes to us from the story Gotham by Gaslight, which was recently made into an animated film. At the time of writing this video, I haven't had the time to read the original story or watch the movie adaptation. But the basic premise of the story is an 1899 version of Batman versus Jack the Ripper. And it doesn't get much cooler than that. So naturally they made a Funko Pop out of this version of Batman. Even though I have never read the story that this character comes from, I always thought that this character design was so freaking cool. I love the steampunk goggles, and the fact that his cape kind of looks like a Victorian overcoat. Although I will say, if I were designing a steampunk Batman, I would have included a top hat. Just saying. Also, I don't know why this figure's arms are posed like they are. It makes him look like he's trying to turn Super Saiyan, or like he's trying to poop. And this isn't important, but I need to talk about it. There's something inside my figure's head, and you can hear it rattling around when he moves. It's weird. Next up in my Elseworlds Pops is the version of Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. Not to be confused with The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, or Batman Returns. This time, I have read the story this figure comes from, and I have watched both film adaptations. In this alternate universe, Bruce Wayne retired as Batman after the death of the second Robin, Jason Todd. But as an old man, he becomes Batman once again to help save Gotham City. It is one of the all-time classic Batman stories. So it is only natural that a pop figure be made of this version of Batman. The detail on this figure is incredible. This version of Batman is an old man, so the figure goes into loving detail showing wrinkles all over him. Not just on his face and forehead, but on the rest of his body as well. It is also one of the few Funko Pops that I own that actually has a mouth. And if any figure needed a mouth on it, it would be Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. Just so you can tell, he is extra pissed off. It even makes sense that this figure is also making the Super Saiyan pose. He is just that mad. If I told those kids once, I told them 1,000 times. Get off my damn lawn. Oh boy, we're diving into the deep end, aren't we? You guys have no idea how hard it has been to not completely derail this episode and turn it into a 3-hour explanation of the multiple DC multiverses. No, we'll save that for another video. Wink wink. But I do need to give some backstory since this Batman is very different from the typical Batman. So, in 2011, DC released the Flash story, Flashpoint, in which the speedster, the Flash, goes back in time to prevent his mother from dying when he was a child. But this change causes a butterfly effect that ends up creating a horrible parallel universe. In this universe, Batman is not Bruce Wayne, but his father, Thomas Wayne. In that dark alley on that fateful night, it was Bruce Wayne that got shot and killed. This leads a bitter Thomas Wayne to become Batman, and an insane Martha Wayne to become the Joker. And now I am really pissed at myself for not buying that Martha Wayne Joker pop when I had the chance. Ah! But enough about the Flashpoint universe, let's talk about the Flashpoint Batman. This Batman has a decent amount of red on his costume, and I like that aspect of his design. His eyes are cool and red, he has this cool red circle around the bat symbol on his chest, his utility belt is red, and his, what are these? Knee straps? Are also red. But seriously, what are these? In the comics, they serve a purpose. Since this Batman is older and more disillusioned, he has 2 gun holsters strapped to his thighs. And those straps hold the holsters to his leg. But this figure has no guns. It has no gun holsters. So why does it have these knee straps? It's not like Funko Pops can't have guns. I have plenty of figures with guns. So why not this one? Also, this version of Batman is supposed to have spiky shoulders. I want my spiky shoulders. Oh well, on to the next figure. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I know very little about Earth 1 or its Batman. Partially because I have not gotten around to reading the Batman Earth 1 story that this figure is based on. But also because DC seriously needs to come up with some new names for its alternate Earths. But more on that later. You know what? No, this wasn't in the original script, but we're doing this. The book is called Earth 1, but it doesn't take place on Earth 1. It takes place on Earth 1, which apparently is the same as Earth 1, but completely different than Earth 1. Why do you have to be so confusing, DC? And don't even get me started on Earth 2.
I'll get to you later.
Okay, I'm good now. I can move on. I'm just going to skip my usual explanation of the character and jump right into talking about the figure. This is probably one of my favorite Batman figures. I just love how dynamic the figure is. From the swirl of the cape to the awesome action pose. It's just so much different than any of my other figures. When I say I want something different than the typical Funko arm pose, this is what I am talking about. I also really like the Earth 1 Batman costume. The bat symbol on his chest reminds me of Batman the Animated Series, but it also incorporates interesting shades of blue that is unique to this figure. I also really like the lines in the bat suit. Can't really explain why, but I like it. More pops like this, please. And to finish things off, here's the figure I've been dreading. Batman from Earth 2. Not to be confused with Earth 2 or Earth 2. What did I tell you? DC, come up with some new names for your universes. Ugh. Anyway, I'll spare you the long details about how this Earth 2 is different than Earth 2 or Earth 2. And just say this is another Thomas Wayne Batman. This Thomas Wayne went into hiding after being shot in the alley. Bruce didn't know that his father was still alive and went on to become Batman, only to eventually find out that Thomas was still alive, and Bruce severed ties with his father. And then he died. So Thomas took up the mantle of Batman in his son's memory. And then he died too. Just like Flashpoint Thomas Wayne, this Thomas has a lot of red incorporated in his costume, with red eyes, a red utility belt, a red bat symbol, surrounded in this red triangle. Don't really know what that's all about. He even has red lining the inside of his cape, which I think is a really cool touch. Unlike the Flashpoint Batman, which is black, red, and gray, this Batman is just red and black, and it just looks really cool. And that about covers all the Elseworld Batman pops that I own. Now it's time for the suggestions. Remember earlier in the video when I said there were multiple DC multiverses? Well, earlier this year they added another one, the Dark Multiverse. A multiverse existing underneath the existing one, where everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. And front and center were the Dark Knights, evil alternate versions of Batman. One for each of the core members of the Justice League. There's the Dawnbreaker, the Red Death, the Merciless, the Devastator, the Drowned, the Murder Machine, and the Batman Who Laughs. These characters look amazing, and I would love it if they were made into pops. Get on it, Funko. Please? I love the Elseworlds Superman story, Red Sun, if you couldn't already tell that from my Red Sun Superman shirt. And what Superman story is complete without a Batman? His bat cowl is made out of one of those furry Russian hats. It's freaking awesome! We already have a Red Sun Superman figure, so why not a Red Sun Batman? Or a Red Sun Wonder Woman for that matter. This is another Elseworlds story primarily about Superman, but there's a really cool Batman in it, so might as well include him. This is another old Batman, but his bat armor allows him to keep on fighting despite old age and a broken back. Yeah, I know we already have an armored Batman pop from Batman vs. Superman, but this story is better, and the armor is better. Therefore, this would be a better figure. How much more do I have to say? It's a Batman who is also a vampire. A literal Batman. And he was turned into a vampire by Dracula. He's just so cool. It would be an injustice to not eventually see this version made into a Funko Pop. Okay, I need to call it quits. There are just too many alternate universes to list all the ones that would make good Funko Pops. So I'll wrap things up by saying each one of these alternate Batmen are awesome. I am glad I have these, and I am certain I will be collecting more. See you in 10 more episodes for Batman and Popsters. See you then. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it just as much as I have enjoyed making it. If you haven't done so, please go ahead and click the subscribe button, and then go ahead and click the bell icon afterwards. That will allow you to know as soon as my next video comes out for each and every video. You should definitely check out my Twitter. It's going to be here somewhere on screen. And if you do, you'll be able to check out the next Viewer's Choice poll when that comes out. Thank you so much again for watching, and feel free to click one of the videos down here to see even more of my content. Thanks again.